it is important for you to know that that's not all there is. Oh, you got a copyright strike against me. So when we looked at last week's lecture or lectures, I talked about how where we can trade the pre-market session and what type of climate would indicate when I would trade predominantly just the pre-market session and not during the AM opening session. Now the AM opening session is the 9:30 opening bell all the way to lunch. Okay, so that's like the AM session, but it's the AM opening session because it's defined by the 9:30 opening bell. Anything prior to 9:30 opening bell Eastern time is always going to be referred to as pre-market. But very specific elements of pre-market being 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time to 9 o'clock or the opening bell at 9:30, those are really good operating hours. And a lot of professionals, we have kept that little segment of price action in that time of the day uh, to ourselves. We haven't really drawn too much attention to it because everybody understands that the 9:30 opening bell is that's the bee's knees. That's everybody wants to be there. That's where all the excitement is. And it is important for you to know that that's not all there is. Because of that, we want to look at the pre-market session because many times that's going to afford you a lower risk opportunity and it's going to be more likely to be low resistance versus the AM opening session being higher resistance because there's an absence of any kind of news. So to avoid all that, to avoid all the uncertainty around those types of days, and it's a Monday. So that's also kind of like what I'm trying to remind you of. Because it's Monday, um, I I've had a lot of folks around the internet kind of like spread misinformation because they'll say ICT never trades on Mondays, and that's not true. I have a lot of rules around Mondays because Monday is like amateur hour. So that's why I'm a little leery on trading right out the gate on Mondays because everybody out there that doesn't know how to trade, doesn't know how the markets work, they don't understand the underlying mechanics of what makes these price engines move. They're basing their assumptions and their actions on a hope and a whim and a prayer. And those three things generally don't bode well for profitable, consistent trading.